It is 7:08 p.m. on Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. The Tooele City Council is meeting in a business meeting being held at Tooele City Hall in the council chambers located at 90 North Main Street in Tooele, Utah. We're also streaming this electronically on the Tooele City YouTube channel. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please rise and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our second item is a roll call. Councilman McCall.
Present.
Councilman Hanson.
Present.
He's joining us by phone. Councilwoman Goches.
Present.
Councilwoman Manzione.
Present.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I'm present. Item 3 is the public comment period. This is the time for the public to address the council. We ask that you state your name into the microphone, keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and then sign the paper over by Shiloh. The time is now the public's.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen, evening. Hope I'm at the right place. My name is Rose Gore. I am a civil rights advocate, and I need to provide public notice to Tooele County. This is in accordance with the USCS Rules of Civil Procedures, as well as Rule 17 and Rule 20 of the United States Supreme Court. The Constitution of the United States has an overarching requirement that every state must follow. States cannot enact their own alternative legislation substituted for the guarantees of the Constitution of the United States. That would mean that the state laws are more powerful than the Constitution. This is unlawful. Clause 1 of Amendments 5 states, "No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on presentment or indictment by a grand jury." However, the state of Utah has enacted its own alternative legislation that permits prosecuting attorneys and police officers to charge by way of information, as opposed to indictment. That is unconstitutional. An emolument violation is when you pay a public official to break the law. The Constitution has 2 areas that enforces this. Article 1, Section 10 says, "No state shall create any law that shall impair the obligation of contracts." Police officers, prosecutors, judges are all under contract. A contract to perform based on the oath or affirmation that they took to support and defend the Constitution. Contract parameters are defined within the Constitution of the United States. And when a state enacts an inferior law that directs their agents to disobey the Constitution of the United States, that is a violation of Article 1, Section 10. The 14th Amendment is another place that you'll find the reinforcement of this issue, and that is where the state, that no state shall create or enforce any law that shall abridge the privileges or immunities of the United States citizens. The privileges and immunities of the United States citizens are at a minimum. Those enumerated within the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. Unfortunately, the state of Utah has enacted a law in its inferior constitution that permits public officials, judges, law enforcement officers, whom you all pay, to violate the Constitution of the United States. As a result, there is an inordinate amount of people currently imprisoned in the state of Utah, illegally and unconstitutional. Tanawa Downing is litigating this issue at the United States Supreme Court. I'm here to notify you that if you continue to pay public officials to break the law, criminal sanctions can come from that. Officials must be made aware that paying people to disobey the law is an emolument violation. It is illegal, it is unconstitutional, it is a crime. I'm asking you, honorable people, to please take a look at Clause 1 of Amendment 5. Confirm what I am saying to be true, and then direct your public officials to act in a lawful, constitutional manner consistent with the obligations that are codified in the Constitution of the United States of America. I have a notice that I would like to put on the record. Thank you so much. God bless.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Donald Gore, Rose's husband. I'm here to follow up on the points that you just heard regarding constitutional compliance. I want to bring this directly home to Tooele County and Tooele City. Over the past 2 years, my wife and I have been in an ongoing battle with Utah Division of Child and Family Services and the Tooele City Police Department. Our children were removed from our home under a warrant that we believe was defective and unconstitutional. That removal from our home under warrant, we believe that removal had been upheld in state juvenile court with due process protections guaranteed to us under the 14th Amendment, and in a way that ignores the disability rights and protections of the Americans with Disabilities Act. The Constitution is not a suggestion. When the Fourth Amendment says that we are free from unreasonable search and seizure, that applies to our homes and to our children. When the 14th Amendment says no state may deprive us of liberty without due process, that applies to parents in Tooele just as much as it applies anywhere else in the United States. As taxpayers, we are paying the salaries of the very officials who have broken these constitutional rules and that kind of emolument violation that you just heard about. And when public officials are paid to violate the Constitution, it erodes public trust and invites legal consequences for the city as well as the state. I am here to put you on notice. Our case is now in federal court, and we will continue to pursue every lawful avenue to hold officials accountable. We're asking you, as city leaders, to review the policies and training of your police officers to ensure that warrants are lawful and constitutional rights are respected in every interaction. The people of Tooele deserve nothing less. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else come forward from the public, I will close the public comment period. We'll move on to item 4, which is ordinance 2025-26, an ordinance of Tooele City reassigning the land use designation from mixed use to light industrial for approximately 4.9 acres of property located at approximately 105 East, 1000 North, presented by Andrew Agard, the Community Development Director.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the City Council. This is a land use map amendment application for property that you're quite familiar with, but for the public's information, it is the oddly shaped parcel highlighted in red on the aerial photograph. It's immediately north of 1000 North and east of SR 36. The Tooele City Fire Station number 3 is located to the east, and then you have the Macy's Shopping Center located to the south of the subject property. The property is currently designated in the city's land use map as mixed use. This was changed about a year or so ago by the City Council to facilitate a change in zoning to a mixed-use general zoning district, which would enable a townhouse or mixed-use type of development. Due to the difficulty in the applicants obtaining water rights, they have decided to shift gears and change direction on how they wish to develop this property. Just for your information, the property is currently zoned RR1, so a land use map amendment does not change the zoning. It only enables discussion or an application for zoning. So all zoning map amendments must comply with the city's land use map of the general plan. So that's why we're here today, is to discuss that. You will note that to the north and to the east of the properties are zoned light industrial. We have general commercial on the west and the south, and then we have a pocket of R17 located to the southeast. The applicant is requesting to change the land use designation to light industrial, and that is to facilitate development of the property as a unique use to Tooele City, a small-scale contractor staging yard or storage area for contractors. In order to accomplish that use, they would have to have zoning of either light industrial or industrial service. I do want to emphasize that the light industrial land use designation does not include the industrial or the heavy industrial zoning district, only the light industrial and the industrial service. This item did go to the Planning Commission at its August 13th, 2025 meeting, and the Commission did vote unanimously to recommend in favor of the light industrial land use designation. And I know the applicant is here tonight and has prepared a presentation, so at the council's discretion, they would like to present for you as well. But if you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer those for you.
Any questions or comments? Okay, thanks, Andrew. We can have the presentation from the developer.
Hi, I'm Amy Johnson, here on behalf of Tooele Desert Rose. So I just wanted to, just give you, Andrew did a good job explaining where this property is, where we are. I do want to stop for a second on the property history. Some of you are aware for it, but before we became involved, Texas Roadhouse, a restaurant, was looking at this. They canceled and were unavailable to be there because of infrastructure costs, of saying that they needed to do a full roundabout and some other things on that. And so they canceled out. Then we came through for a mixed-use work-live townhome. And as you're aware, we couldn't use the commercial water part. We had some backup water options at that time, and then those fell through. And so even using multiple land use water attorneys and different water brokers, we were unable to find water for the mixed use part. And so we said, okay, serve this family, what else can we do with this property? And so that is what we're proposing today. So I'm just going to go into what that looks like and what this is. And why I say this is somewhat of a newer product that we have implemented in other states and 2 different provinces in Canada, and it's been very successful. It's not as common around here, though. So what that is and why this is basically the individual contractor yards. Think of not storage units. I know that picture looks a little bit like there'd be storage units. They're contractor yards, and I'll show you in a picture. But really, what we're doing and why this is a good fit is we take individuals, like this is a residential house, right, that has large trailers. You can see a snowplow or maybe a ditch witch that you see. They have their equipment parked around their residential neighborhood, in their driveways, on the side, on there. And where our products are really successful are in HOA communities that don't allow any of that. But we also see it being successful in areas that have a lot of construction or things that are happening, booming and starting to come. So it's taking products that are being stored in residential neighborhoods and putting them in a nice, tight, organized fashion instead. So, and what that does is it helps support, so these small businesses or these different businesses or contractors that are coming, maybe they have a job, maybe their main headquarters is in Salt Lake or other areas, but they have job sites here in Tooele, and they don't want to, they want to have somewhat of a warehouse or an organized space that they can put their staging materials that's secure and safe. So we've seen electricians come, plumbers, roof companies, all of these are type of businesses that house their items in here. It's important to note as far as a concern like, well, could you be storing, I don't know, radioactive items or anything like that. So we have to have insurance on this part. And because of that, the insurance is very specific on what we can and can't store on that. And that's because of our policy of what we can put. So in some ways, the insurance broker individuals are helping raise the bar as far as what can be stored here and how it can be stored here for it, as far as flammable or any other materials. So inside, basically we break up this land into individual size yards in here, and these are all places that we already have existing product like this, and they've been very successful. The cities have been very happy with them as well. So this is an image that kind of looks like that. You still have a road, gravel way, you have a pathway, but we have individual fenced off yards that they lock their fence, they put their stuff inside. This is not just one open RV lot that people's stuff and crap is put everywhere. No, they're renting their specific location and they organize their space directly. So that's kind of the individual contractor yard that they have their own gate, it's their own lock. We lock it for them and they have an access into it. All of our sites have good lighting. They have good, fencing and security cameras. The security cameras are very important. And then individual, they can have vehicles inside of there. They can have storage shelves. They can, whatever their stuff is that they're putting in there. Again, going back to that the insurance, we do limit on our lease, on our agreements, our rental agreements, we say what you can and cannot host and post inside there. And then we also have to comply, obviously, with the light industrial zoning as far as what products can go inside there. It's important to note this is just we still have to go through our zone change. And so there's more to have a conversation there. I'll be back in front of you guys later. But that's important to note. As far as our visual impact, like we said, we have fencing. And honestly, this land we can't think of anything else that this land would be used for. It is important to know, I skipped this on the history, is in that time from when we were doing the townhomes to coming prepared for this, we did take it out to all of our top brokers that we have we have great relationships with a lot of development in a lot of places with Colliers and Legend Partners and, all of those brokers. And we said, hey, here's our site. Do you have any buyers? Do you have anybody that we could develop this for? We could build to suit, any of those things. And they all came back with some of the similar problems of water or the biggest part was access into the property for a retail resident, part. But we don't have the access problem here because people are coming directly for this, so they will make the point for it. And as far as fitting in with the neighborhood, like we said, all of our neighbors are light industrial. Our back neighbor is just RV. We're not positioned right next to, a school or, any of those parts. So this is the end. That's where we just have these individual parts. It's not the exact, we still have to go through the whole site plan approval process and everything else on looking at that. But this has been really successful for other businesses. They've really appreciated having a place like this, especially so that they're not having to store it at their residential house of trailers and their ditch witch or their snowplow or any of those items. We're not talking about like large cranes that are fitting in here. These are small yards of small materials. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, otherwise I can sit down.
Any questions or comments?
I have some questions.
Please, sure.
Thank you for your presentation. It did bring a lot of questions to my mind when you were talking. So from what I saw, is it a gated access into the property? Or?
Yes.
Okay, so like timed entry or?
Yep.
Okay. And it did have a picture that had Connex boxes. And I do know that our city does have ordinance with Connex boxes. I don't know if it applies, but anyway.
Yeah, and it's difficult to show like stock images of different stuff, but we obviously have to follow your city guidelines of what is allowed and what's not, and we put that inside of our lease agreement.
Okay. Are these spaces for rent only, or are they for purchase?
Nope, they are not condominiumized. They can't be purchased. It's too difficult to divide it up to purchase I don't know how I'd be able to make that happen. And so these are for rent. So we're the managers of the site. This is a product that we own and operate. This is something we would be keeping and owning and operating.
And then another question that came to mind is, do you have any water needs? I didn't notice anything that had a facility like restrooms. This is a dry area only?
Totally dry area. That's the direction for this.
And then as far as what you indicated, what you can and can't store, I assume that you would have to, each applicant would have to obtain a permit from the city to make sure that they comply with what they're going to what type of material they're going to store on site. Is that correct?
No, I don't believe so. They wouldn't, because they're not owning this site. So we will follow our lease agreement of what can and can't be stored on there has to follow your guys' code. And that's how we draft. We have the lawyer draft the lease agreement for the rental space. And then we do have an on-site person that comes and views, that comes and views, and manages the site and makes sure everybody is in compliance. Just like, I guess it's kind of like, I don't want to compare us to a self-storage unit, but just like in a self-storage unit, we're not allowed to, like mattresses aren't, there's certain things that our lease agreement inside of a self-storage unit, we don't allow in other products. And in other products that we have to follow the guidelines between insurance guidelines and the city's guidelines of what can and cannot be stored inside that unit. And we follow a similar process here from a contractor yard, actually even more relevant because this is a very open space. I mean, they're individual, but it's not contained in one box.
Just my last question is that I didn't see any parking stalls.
Nope,
I only
because
saw-
that's not the intention. This is not an RV park space. So if they are parking, they are opening up their gate to bring their vehicle, and that vehicle has to fit inside their yard.
Okay, so there's no exterior parking, no customer parking if they were to conduct business or want to meet customers on their property?
No, it's not to meet customers. It's not a office front. It's not that type of business use. This is a staging yard for their employees to come and pick up their equipment or supplies that are needed to complete their job for it. So they have this out, their products can weather the elements and have it inside. So otherwise they'd be going more for a light industrial flex warehouse space that, then customers could come see. So that is not what this is, but, and there's other products like that out in the market. This is just for, I can put my pipe here.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other?
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Will the customers be allowed to put a temporary, not
Lean-to,
shed, but a roof, in case they have something that needs to be out of the weather?
Yeah, we've allowed in our other products, we have allowed for them to have inside of their space
A lean-to,
like
something like
a
that?
lean-to or a shed or something to protect the elements of that. It still has to follow the guidelines, and it cannot be a permanent structure.
Correct.
Yeah.
This might be more of a zoning question when it comes to zoning, but is it 24/7 access or are there business hours?
We have so in our other, I guess that's up to a zoning part. I know for our other properties, we have a timed access that they're not allowed to come 24 hours for it. So, and we actually prefer that from a security standpoint, and our cameras, because then we can see if there's motion on the camera, then we know, okay, it's alerting us versus, somebody's coming in at all odds. So in our other products, no, it's not at all access.
But for a contractor, because a lot of contractors try to get started early, especially in
We
the
do have
winter.
it early, yeah. It's not 24 hours, but it's
Right, correct, but
definitely,
they could come in at 4 o'clock to
they can come early.
to get a job. Okay.
I'm having a hard time distinguishing how this is different than a storage unit. It looks like a storage unit, it feels like a storage unit. Items are being stored there like a storage unit. I understand the difference that it's a holding place, I guess you could say, for a contractor, but it's still a storage yard, and I don't think this is the best place for that. You had mentioned that these are in other communities. are they right in the middle of the community in these other places? Like,
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
They absolutely are. I mean, our Bradenton, Florida, that one's, I mean, we're actually next to a charter school for it. So there's a 7-Eleven, a Chipotle, and a charter school, and then we're behind those.
okay.
So-
I would have loved to have seen pictures of those, not just a stock photo, just kind of see what we're comparing these to, right? And
And I'm happy to bring those on our zone change approval. But yeah, I apologize.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not in favor of this. I mentioned 2 weeks ago in our work meeting that it's not the light industrial zone I'm worried about. It's that we have this wide range of what can go there. We could have storage units there, and then we could have a medical building. I think something more like a medical building would be appropriate here in the heart of downtown. 1000 North has turned into one of the busiest roads in Tooele City, and I don't think this is something that's going to be best in that area, so.
And the only factor I would say is that period of time between when I was in front of you for the townhomes to the contractor yards, I would say the contractor yard is probably our least profitable thing, right? So it's not that we absolutely have developed for medical buildings, restaurants, drive-throughs, like all of those assets, and we have talked to those different brokers. So I just want to stress, as far as, I know the family is here tonight, and looking at what this property is right now is just basically a farmer's contractor yard of lots of, stuff there. We are definitely going to be bettering that for it. And like I said, we are surrounded by light industrial, and it's not that we haven't tried the other uses. So we have looked at those other uses. This site, in my opinion, because I have self-storage units across in other areas, this site does not. You guys are overbuilt on storage units for it. So as far as a feasibility study, if I was to put a self-storage here, it wouldn't. But this is a unique. This type of product is not this is not what contractors do not use. Those type of. This is unique for contractors, and it's a need. So I see where your correlation is. It's the easiest thing to correlate to as far as a storage yard or just a large parking lot that you park your RV on or your boat. You have those in this area, and it's not that. This is individual fenced yards that they put their stuff inside. So, but I can respect your opinion, Justin, for sure. That's great.
Okay, any other questions for the applicant?
Not for the applicant.
Thank you, Amy. I have another question. It may be for Andrew or one of the council members who attend the Planning Commission. I can't find the minutes online for the Planning Commission, and it's not in the packet. Can you help me understand what the Planning Commission, why they felt like this was beneficial in this area?
They did express some concern about the wide variety of uses that could occur with the light industrial zoning district, but their response was, this is just the land use map amendment, and we can deal more with the specifics of the zoning during the zoning map amendment process. They didn't express any opposition to the proposed use.
Okay.
So they felt like they were supportive of it.
Okay.
I just have a comment. I still personally feel, I know you don't necessarily agree, but I think we're lacking a zoning area. Like, we jump from here to here, and this encompasses everything. And I'm not necessarily opposed to what they're proposing as stated, but when we say we'll zone it light industrial or industrial services, it opens everything. I mean, everything is there. And so if we're really going to stick with exactly what this is, but as soon as we rezone it, I mean, I'm not saying you will, but you could sell it tomorrow and somebody else comes in and they can build anything in those zoning, in that zone. And I still think we're missing something. We need something in between or
We
some sort of
are,
restriction.
and I'm working on that. What I would like to do is I would like to refine the industrial service zoning district, because when you compare the light industrial to the industrial service, it's not a lot of difference.
Right.
And honestly, I don't understand why we have the industrial service, because there isn't a distinguishable difference. So one of the things I'm working on, I'd like to bring back to the council, is a refined industrial service zone. And that may address some of the concerns that you have in regards to opening the box to what you can put there. I do also want to state that the light industrial zone does have a wide range of uses. And if we do want something to occur on this property, it's not a bad zoning district to have. It does not permit the really ugly type of land uses that you would get in the industrial zone. So there may be some concern there, but there's also could be some benefit. You could get a wide range of uses there, get some development on this property. So. But that is on my to-do list, and I'm working on it.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Okay. I'll entertain a motion if anyone wants to make a motion. Well, I'll make a motion that we deny ordinance 2025-26.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion for myself and Councilwoman Goches. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall.
I'm going to have to say nay.
Okay, Councilman Hanson. Councilman Hanson, are you there?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
I'm going to say nay.
I'm Councilman Brady and I vote aye. So that is not approved 3-2. Item 5 is Resolution 2025-71, a resolution of the Tooele City Council authorizing payment of fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for advanced spine and pain located near 2400 North, 400 East, presented by John Perez, the Economic Development Director.
Good evening again, Council. So this was a request from Physicians Accounting and Management Systems for advanced spine and pain, a request for 1.2 acre feet. And to restate the policy considerations, the capital investment of $8 million, approximately the creation of 8 full-time jobs. And then we also mentioned and discussed in the work meeting that we were going to add in the 2-year expiration date for vertical construction to begin.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? So this is John. We don't have a public hearing right now, but yeah, that's okay. Yeah, John is our Economic Development Director. Okay, any questions from council? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2025-71, a resolution of Tooele City Council authorizing payment of a fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for advanced spine and pain located near 2400 North, 400 East.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 6 is Resolution 2025-73, a resolution of the Tooele City Council authorizing payment of fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for Grow Development LLC located at 249 East, 1000 North, presented by John Perez, the Economic Development Director.
Yeah, so this grow development at 249 East 1000 North is a light industrial complex that will be constructed. This was requested by Grow Development, and they provided in the letter the policy considerations of an estimated 130 full-time jobs at final completion of all phases, and then average wages of $55,000 annually and capital investment of approximately $30 million. And that 7 acre feet was confirmed by the city engineer, and that the xeriscaping will be done and no turf. And then like we discussed in the work meeting, the 2-year expiration date for vertical construction will be included.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2025-73, authorizing payment of a fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for Grow Development LLC located at 249 East 1000 North.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 7 is Resolution 2025-74, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Judge Netting Mountain West for the installation of 3 baffle netting systems at Ochre Hills Golf Course, presented by Darwin Cook, the Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Council. To give you a little history on this, so when the back 9 was built, there were some existing houses that were on the west side of Drew Bay Road. And our hole number 17, due to the drive range, drive direction of it, if you're a golfer like Dave, you're going to drive balls over towards those houses. So we've done some adjustments over the last, well, probably 3 years, about right, Mayor? Somewhere in there, 3 years, trying to mitigate that a little bit. Do you want to bring up that first slide? Actually, this is, oh yes, perfect. So part of that adjustment is this, oops, wrong one, this net right here that we've added. Actually, this is the wrong one. Go to, oh, back up one, if you can. Go to the one that has the aerial. There we go, okay. So the in question are the houses here on the bottom. It's mostly right in this area here. So we added a net across this area right. Oh, it's actually right here, and then we redirectioned the holes so they're more driving to the southwardly east. Mm-hmm. That did fix quite a bit of the issue that we were having for one particular resident. However, what it did was it also pushed it a little bit further down the line. So some of the things that we've done is we've also there's a couple trees here. Part of with golf, it's kind of like your mind's, you're trying to aim in the right direction, so you're trying to avoid obstacles. Well, we did have a big tree that was forcing people to want to try to avoid the tree, so they were trying to go to the right. We removed the tree so that then they felt that the fairway was more open, to where then they could shoot more south, or aim more southerly west, trying to eliminate the slices that were then coming here to the houses. One of the issues that probably has increased a little bit is we feel, and from the data that we've received, very few of these hits to the fences or to the houses or whatever are direct hits. Most of them are bounce hits off of the road. As you know, we've recently increased and completed Drew Bay Road, which was long overdue, which everybody's really excited about. But it has created a larger surface for bounce, which we think's adding maybe a little bit to what's happening here into the fences of one of the particular houses. What our staff has researched out, so they went and visited a couple golf courses. Well, actually, they went and played one, and so if you'll go back now to and go back one more. Oh, sorry. There we go. So these are called baffle nets, And each one of these is basically positioned for a particular hole. So obviously the black and the red and the blue, or is it blue and red, Dave? So, and what this does is they're angled at a certain angle so that when you're at your tee driving, you have no choice that if you're going to slice it really bad, it's going into the net. They're angled in such a way to provide safety for the golfer so that it doesn't come right back at them. But they're close enough that if you have that slice from a bad hit, it's going to go right into that net. So these three will only be placed on the furthest back three holes. We do believe so. There was a couple options. We were looking at putting a 70-foot high net all the way along on our property, or a 35-foot high net for 400 feet all the way along the back of the property owner's property. The most expensive was the 70-foot, 400-foot, which was over $200,000, but had a lower success rate than this one, which is the $64,500 price, which is in the resolution. So it's kind of, Brian brought up the point that the most expensive option yielded the least success. The cheapest actually yields the greatest success. I don't know that we can ever accomplish 100%. We're talking in the high, 80s, 70s, 80s percents of balls, unless they're obviously a deliberate, shoot from a golfer over that way. The residents that we have been working with have been very cooperative. As we were in this process, we had a situation to where a golfer actually, as we're working through this over the last 4 weeks, had an issue with one of the things. Some of the golfers, part of golfing etiquette is that you are responsible for the damage you cause, and some golfers are right on top of it, and they'll go right up to the people during this whole entire time. As Cody and our superintendent was looking into this, trying to figure it out. A golfer, hit a ball, went right over, bounced, went right up, and hit the shed or whatever have you. The golfer was actually quite responsible. Went over there, said, "Hey, I think my golf ball hit your shed. Here's my card. If there's any damage, reach out to me." We do have those results. Again, somebody's car got hit on Drew Bay. Before the car owner got to the pro shop, the golfer was already up there saying, "Hey, I think I hit a car or hit somebody's car." And so we do have those successes in golfers taking ownership, but this is kind of for that event of trying to minimize it to the best that we can, so we can be better neighbors. This here, Cody and Jordan played on this course up in Layton, and to go get a feel for it, because they wanted to see what it was like for the golfer. They talked to their superintendent there to see what the public's feel was as far as the patrons that visit the golf course. And all of them understand why they're there. They knew why they're there. They know the purpose of them, and there wasn't really any pushback from the golfers when these were installed. And I feel that if we're informative and we provide the information that's needed to the golfers, they'll understand why they're there too. But I do believe, because of the stuff that we've already done, most people know that there's an issue with this hole. So, any questions? I should mention too that Judge Netting is just the one who do all of our netting for us, and so that's why they're the contractor on this. And this will be a capital project from this year's budget.
Any questions or comments?
You don't happen to have a picture of the other net options, do you?
No, because they were just kind of drawings of where they were. If you go back to can you go to the aerial again, Loretta? So to kind of give you an idea, this one, if we did the 400-foot net, we would put it right here on our property, and it would just go basically 400 feet right here. But in order to have the same effect, it'd have to be 75 feet tall. The other net, it would be about right here in this, so it'd be a little further down, because the balls are coming on an angle like this. So it'd be in this area. that would be 400 feet as well, but 35 feet tall. And the city does own a 5-foot little easement strip right there that we could mount the net in. I should mention to the property owners, the net behind their house was the least favorite. They are not in favor of having the net right behind their house.
I don't blame them.
Blame them either.
I would have wanted that right behind my
Just
house.
share that with you.
Just throwing it out there.
Will you show me again where the baffled nets are going to be located? again?
Yeah, so the baffle nets will be, so one will be right here, one will be right there, and one will be right there.
And so they don't obstruct anyone's view or?
Nope. Yeah, and those ones, they're about 30, do we have a
30
contractor?
feet tall by 20
Yeah,
or 30.
30 feet tall by 20 feet long on 20, 30, and 50.
So they're hitting the ball southeast, is it?
Yeah,
Like
so
they're
the
driving
idea
from
is
down
to, we've opened this up so that
Supposed
the driving's this way. Yeah, did you say they're supposed to? Yes, they are supposed to, Chairman. Our goal is to try to create an environment where they are coming this way. Like that's what we've tried to accomplish. We've opened it up. In last year's budget, some of this is kind of an older photo. We have opened this up and sodded all this right here. So it gives you the impression that if you aim this way instead of here, that even if you're aiming this way, if you slice, it won't leave the golf course. But if you were here and you were slicing, it was leaving the golf course.
Mm-hmm. I wish that you had gotten a more recent aerial, because a more recent area would totally clear it up for them, because the golf course don't look nothing like that. It is a beautiful course, and it looks like it's got all these little diseases on it right now, but
I think that, and this is kind of a very low, well, it's Google Earth, but yeah, it's a very low image, low res.
And he's saying it right. It was a tree there, and you said you took the tree out. But the way that you normally would look, because when you're on the tee box, the green is like there, but you can't get to it that way because it's all trees there. You got to go out and then come back into it, in a sense. So you're angled at this angle already. And as he was saying, if you're saying, well, I know the green is this way and I'm going to get as close as I can, I'm going to hit it to where I go across these trees, which is where when you hit a bad shot, it's going to go and it's across the street, Yeah.
Yeah, your view
I personally
on
have never hit one across the street. Mine don't make it that far.
your view for when the tree was there, and it was a big blue spruce, when the tree was there, the gap on the left was smaller than the gap on the right. So you always just wanted to try to shoot the right gap because you didn't want to hit the tree and then be back, 100 yards more than what you needed to be. So everybody was, not everybody, but they were always trying to shoot for the right gap versus the left. So we just took the tree out so that they could just shoot down the middle. And then we expanded the fairway, the grass on the fairway towards the flood or the FEMA flood ditch a little bit, just so it gives you that perception is that this is wider over here versus here.
And these other courses that have these nets, it's capturing these
Yes.
where it's being sliced and.
Yep.
Okay.
And quite, you don't golf?
I don't golf. I would be the one trying to find the car window I hit or something, so. Yeah.
No, and
I wish
quite
I had
frankly,
time to golf,
I
yeah.
think a lot of people that do slice like those nets because golf balls are expensive.
They don't have to chase it far, huh?
They are not cheap, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It leaves it right there at your,
Yep.
right there where you're at. So.
I think it's important that these residents are able to enjoy their backyard, so
Yeah.
I think we do need to try something. And if this is the best recommendation we have right now, then I support it. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2025-74, a resolution of Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Judge Netting, Mountain West, for the installation of 3 baffle netting systems at Oak Hill Golf Course.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall and a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0.
Thank you, council.
Thanks, Darwin. Item 8 are invoices and purchase orders presented by Shiloh Baker, the city recorder.
Thank you. We have 6 invoices for you tonight. The first is to a vendor by the name of Phase 2. This is for our Ad Lumen software renewal. This is network monitoring, so this is the system that sends notification to our IT team if there are issues, and it sends those notifications in real time so that they can address any issues that are happening with our network. That is for $57,468. The second is to AIM Development. This is to upsize a water line from an 8-inch to a 12-inch line. This is for $38,849. This is on in the area of Barra Boulevard and Franks Drive. And there's only a small section that required an 8-inch line, and they wanted to upsize it to a 12 because it connects to 12-inch lines. We have several vehicles. The first is a Ford F-150 from Ken Garf, West Valley. This is for $50,348 for the water department. This is to replace a truck that needs a new transmission. They do plan to get the transmission repaired, or try to get the transmission repaired, then to have as a backup vehicle. There is also a 2025 Ford Super Duty F-350, also from Ken Garf, West Valley, in the amount of $76,732.43. We need a vehicle to pull the vac trailer. This is also for the water department. We've also added an employee to the water department, a position to the water department, so they're going to be doing some shuffling of vehicles in that department, which is why I have the next one. This is a Ford F-150, also from Ken Garf, West Valley Ford, for $47,700. Again, we're doing some shuffling of vehicles in the water department as we've added a position and need a vehicle to pull the vac trailer. We also, from Ken Garf, West Valley, a 2020 Ford Ranger in the amount of $35,850. This is for a utility technician in the finance department. You added that position in this last budget. And that is all.
Are there any questions or comments?
I have one. Did the local dealership, did they not get added to the state's list for purchases?
That is correct. From what I understand, they are not on the state contract.
Why are we talking again?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of tax money that we should have stayed in the city. Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the invoices and purchase orders.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione and a second from Councilwoman Goches. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson.
Aye.
Councilman McCall.
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Shiloh. Item 9 are the minutes from August 6, 2025 work meeting and the August 6, 2025 business meeting. Are there any corrections? We did get the one by email. Is it updated in the packet? I don't know if anyone read the packet. Okay. I don't have any corrections then. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Goches and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I vote aye. That passes 5.